So I've sanded down the top. It's looking really nice under there. The next step, just took all the doors and all the hardware off. I've decided I'm just going to sand the door frames, and I've taken out the slats that are inside. So I'm going to swap that over for something else later on, which you'll see. Alright, so finished all the sanding that I want to do. Decided to do the middle shelf there just to give a little accent. And then I've done the other shelves and the door frames. I'm going to go ahead now and paint my piece. I'm going to do 3 coats of paint, and I've chosen a really nice soft blue. I'll just show you here. Now this is from the Taubman's range and the colour is Provence. Once I've done my paint with the main colour, I'm going to go and just do a very light dry brush of the linen white in the Rust-Oleum chalk paint range. It's all the paint I have, so I am mixing regular paint and chalk paint. Look, it's no big deal. You don't have to use chalk paint on your pieces. You can use regular old paint. Go into Bunnings and you can get 500ml or a 250ml sample pot. It's a great inexpensive way to get some paint, and it's much cheaper than buying your chalk paint. I do like using chalk paint, so don't get me wrong, but if you're new to this and you just want to give it a go, then it's a nice, easy and inexpensive way to get you going. These are about $10 to $15, and these are about $5 to $6. So here's what it looks like all painted. Now it is still drying, so it does look a little bit blotchy there, but I'm really happy with this color. The blue looks so fresh and beachy, so really happy with how it's turned out. So I've decided to whitewash the top of this cabinet. So I've just mixed up some chalk paint in the linen white and water. Look, I kind of guesstimated. I just really wanted a very thin, light whitewash, so I've made it quite watery. So I've just pasted it on top there, and I'm just going to let it sit for 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead, get a damp rag, and start wiping it off. I've already begun the whitewashing process with the shelving and the doors. So as you can see, these ones I've already painted on and wiped off. It's just a very light whitewash, so just to keep that timber a lighter color rather than the yellow. When you seem to seal it, it seems to go a bit yellow, and I just wanted to keep it a bit lighter. So I've got my damp towel, and now I'm just going to wipe away some of the paint, and as you can see, it comes off pretty easily, just leaving that white light sheen. And you just push as hard or as lightly as you like, depending on the coverage that you want. So I let my paint sit for about 5 minutes, and then as you can see here, I've wiped all the excess off, leaving behind a nice sheer covering of the white paint, giving it that whitewash effect. Now I have gone for quite a light whitewash here, just because that's the look I'm sort of going for with this cabinet. I want a very sort of beachy, driftwoody kind of look for it. You can leave it on a bit longer, you can wipe a bit less, but I'm very happy with the result here. You can still see a lot of the nice grain of the wood behind. Now remember how I said I was going to do some dry brushing? So if you just have a look closely here, you can see how I have done so on the outside edge here, just to give it that extra kind of coastal look. So I'm going to work on the doors now. I've taken out the old inserts, which were those guys there, and I'm going to replace it with some of this rattan. I'm just going to cut it to size first and then see how I'm going to adhere it to the doors. So I've just put the rattan under the door just to see what it looks like, and I'm really happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the door. Alright, so my rattan doors are all done. It was actually relatively easy. So before you get going, you're going to want to soak the rattan for about 3 to 5 minutes. so that it is more pliable and that you can move it around and get it nice and flat for your piece. I have just used a staple gun and adhered it on the back. So very easy, and we're done. A nice way to change up some doors and make them look fresh and beachy. Alright, so I've finished my doors, and these are the handles, the original ones that came with the door. I just want to change it up, make it look a little more fresh and to match the doors a little better. So I thought I would try something out. So I've got some natural twine and just tied it onto the end there, and I'm just going to wrap it down the bar. There is one that I've already completed and it actually turned out really nice. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the second one here. I just tied it on and then did a coat of PVA / Mod Podge on top to keep it in place, and now it's just drying. Okay, so the final step is to finish off the piece with some top coat. Now I just use the Cabot's Clear and a couple of sponge brushes to apply. Now I did do 1 coat over the whole piece and 3 on the top and the sanded shelf, just to give it some extra durability.